Hi, thank you for joining us today. I'm Sarah Staniford with Marketing Madness Radio. Today we have a guest star. Today is Andrew Alex, and he actually has been my mentor for about 5 years now. He's mentored me through business, spirituality, life, and how to be in tune with myself. Also, we do have a great comedian today joining us is Ernesto. He's done it here in Arizona, California. We've seen him in action many a times. He does have a couple of his shows coming up soon. Thank you for joining us, you guys. I appreciate it. Go ahead.
Thank you for the nice intro.
You're welcome.
I feel fancy.
Yeah, I feel fancy too. I just want to kind of say something to Andrew. I want to say thank you for mentoring me for my years of being in business and being my friend, and I appreciate that. I want to say that to you deepest to my heart, and tell the world about you.
Well, I practice law. I've been a trial lawyer for 35 years. The first 5 years were in the county attorney's office. I was a prosecutor, tried maybe 50 cases to a jury. Mm-hmm. After that, I was in private practice. I do primarily trial work, mostly on bodily injury. Mm-hmm. In the process, I became a certified neuralistic programmer. It's called NLP or linguistics. Mm-hmm. And linguistics is about how people relate to one another and communicate. Mm-hmm. I'm a certified life coach. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I got these certifications was to become a better trial lawyer. You see?
Well, I do admit you are a great trial lawyer because I've seen you in action, okay? I have seen you in action, and I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with that. So,
one of the things that you and I have talked about is, how do we make people the best version of themselves? Mm-hmm. How do we make Sarah the best she can be?
I think I'm doing the best as I can be because I'm sitting here with you fine folks right now. I think I'm doing pretty nice, but it took some growth. It took some time. I wasn't always like that. But I think age always makes you, fine wine? I'm a little bit of a fine wine. Okay, I am.
Not store wine.
Yeah, store wine, not store wine. Not store wine. I'm the fancy wine.
It's kind of interesting because, and I've learned a lot from you too, by the way. It's always a two-way street. In fact, no matter how much I try to give, there's something about the universe. It just gives you so much more back.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Have you ever noticed that?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And I've been working on this idea as to being to be the best person you can be, or like a complete person, for about 11 years.
Oh,
Wow.
And kind of what got me started was I had learned that only 1 in 20 people find prosperity and happiness. That's 5%.
Yeah.
That's only 5%. That's why there's all those angry people out there,
That's
not
pretty
road
sad.
rage.
Yeah, I had 'em here.
I'm
I
included
had 'em
in
coming
that,
here.
okay? Because, I'm included.
Well, I used to worried about that very thing. What happened to the other 19 out of 20 people?
They're on the road.
They're stuck in traffic right now.
You're right.
That's so funny, but it's absolutely true.
It is. It's absolutely true.
And so I studied this. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I found is that people go to high school, they go to college, maybe they go to medical school or law school or beautician school. Mm-hmm. And, they learn certain skills and techniques to become like a technician, okay? They can get a degree. They could get certifications, certificates, but they don't know how to be human beings.
No.
Wow. It's true.
It is true. I see that every day, that people don't know how to be normal. Not even normal. I don't even know what normal is.
Well, I tell
you, being with themselves and being happy.
Yeah. And we could say they're not happy because the surveys show that, that they don't feel successful. They don't develop prosperity.
Right.
They don't build wealth.
Right.
So what are they lacking? And the people who study the things say, look, they lack relationship intelligence, emotional quotients, dispute resolution.
It is so true.
Let alone things like the foods that they eat, let's call it diet, fitness, finances. And so what the people find out is they just make the same mistakes like over and over and over again. So we start drilling down a little bit deeper, because you're always looking for to distill it down to what is the core
problem or the core issue. When I kind of went deep with myself, I had a lot of issues. I didn't think I did, but I did. And you know what? And I learned to recover from it, to grow from it, and taking that negativity into positivity. And that was the only way that I was able to channel things and be able to grow as a businesswoman, as a mom, a grandmother. I am a grandmother of 3 children. So, it definitely, finding yourself actually helps you in any level. Now, do I still need my mentors, and I still need to have my guides, and I still have to have my laughter? Absolutely, because that's what keeps me balanced to give good energy out in the universe.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're a perfect example, of that positive attributes. Let's take a look at some statistics. Remember that 19 out of 20 or that 95%? It's kind of shocking. People who graduate from high school, not dropouts, but people who graduate from high school, 60% never read another book in their life. Individuals who graduate from college, 39% never read another book in their life.
Wow.
And if you're not reading, where's the growth?
Yeah.
That sounds like all of my ex-boyfriends right now.
Oh, wow.
I don't think any of them read. I don't think any of them read a book after anything.
That sounds like some of my friends.
Right? Like, here, let me give you the 48 Laws of Power.
Yeah.
I want you to read that book.
The crazy thing, just to back up a little, I'm an entertainer, and I see a lot of people that are very talented at the top of their game, but they're miserable when they're off stage. They make everyone laugh. It's a great time when you're with them, but once they get off stage, it's horrible. They're suffering from those things where they're on stage, their life is beautiful, but off stage, their life is out of control.
It's out of control.
Yeah, it is.
And I always look at it like that because you see so many people that you seem like they're happy all the time, and they're really not. They're really not happy. They just portray that because we were going into talking about like ego. Before that, it's all about your ego, like you said, before we came on. And it's true. But you are right. And some of them are I think they use the funniness to avoid the sadness.
No, you definitely.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, and you take all the pain. It's anything that's painful in your life, that's a gold mine. It can be funny.
It can be funny.
It definitely can be funny. Yeah.
Well, I thought I was funny for a while, and then I realized I was like, maybe I'm not funny. But I think I'm funny.
Well, see, that's already funny.
Yeah, there you go.
That conflict is funny right there.
That's a conflict with myself.
So you raised such an incredibly smart point, a pertinent point. 60% of the folks out there regret their career choice.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So if they're regretting their career choice, how can they be happy?
Yeah.
You see? True. Just like the folks that you were just talking about.
Yeah.
When they get off stage, they're not happy people.
They're not happy people.
They're not. They're not happy at all whatsoever.
And in a business context, certainly if they regret their career choice, they're certainly not going to be leaders. You see, which means then they're not going to earn as much money. They're not going to have the good finances. So it kind of like just spirals downward.
Yeah, yeah, and the ones that actually, it's a hard business to get into, and sometimes people do it their whole lives or start later in life because they weren't happy with their careers. But you see the ones that actually make it; those are the ones that seem pretty grounded and successful.
Yeah,
and, they're not really stressed out like the rest of us.
I'm a risk taker, so when I was miserable at my job, I worked at Wells Fargo. I didn't kind of plan it. I just did it. I just got up and left. And I'm sitting here with you guys again because this is why I did it. Because I knew I wasn't happy, and I didn't care if I was poor. I didn't care if I didn't eat, and I didn't care when I had a boyfriend at the time what he said. I was gonna do it, and I did it. And I did it, and that was 9 years ago. And
Wow.
here I am today with a business.
You just walked out?
I just walked out.
Did you clock out first for that 4 days pay?
No, I didn't.
No.
no.
That's what I would have thought.
You know what? I'm gonna check on that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check on that stuff because that was 9 years ago, but I don't think I did. I didn't clock out.
Is there like a statute of limitation on that?
Right? Yeah, is there?
Ernesto, Sarah is one of the 10% who thought about self-improvement. The corollary is 90% of the folks out there don't think about self-improvement.
No.
So if you're not even thinking about self-improvement, how are you going to break these habits? Where are you going to learn relationship skills, emotional quotients, conflict resolution, if you're not even thinking about it?
Right.
How do you break that cycle?
Well, how do you start thinking about it? Sometimes people are so in the emotion that they're just doing. They're
just living.
living.
Just living. But
But is that really living?
No, it's not.
No, so I just say that you're just a robot and you're just doing everyday life. That's not living. Living is just feeling good about it. Feeling good about what you're doing. That's what living's about. That's what living.
And you can be relatively successful. I mean, look, I was in my practice. I had this beautiful, beautiful wife and 3 children, the love of my life. And then my sweetie, passed away unexpectedly.
Wow.
I mean, it was unimaginable. And here I was without my sweetheart, and I had 3 children, one freshman in medical school, one in college, and one in high school, living at home. And I realized that I wasn't equipped to raise my children. In fact, I'm not proud of it, but there's probably times I couldn't have picked my kids out of a grocery store lineup because I spent all the time at the office.
Yeah. Was that my choice? Was that my really? You're like,
I always sent my kids to school so I could get a break. You know what I mean? That was the only reason I wouldn't want to homeschool them. No way. It's crazy.
And here I'm looking at all these statistics and maybe being a little bit critical, but what I realized, when I had to raise my children and didn't know how, is I wasn't a complete person.
Right. That's usually how it happens.
So, where was the starting point, so to speak? It was 11 years ago when my wife passed away, and that was my starting point.
Wow.
But that was the reason. But how did we get started? You see? And one thing I started to do is I started doing a lot of reading, you see? Books on self-improvement, what I call soft skills, relationship skills, conflict, solving problems.
Right.
And I'm busy. And interestingly, I always had an interest in this because in my den I had these books piled up, and books on my mantle and on the fireplace. But I'm busy.
Wow.
And so these were things I intended to read, but really one of the first things I learned was if you just read that 10 pages a day, and as we talked, you can read 10 pages, you can read 10 pages. It's those 12 or 15 books a year. If you make them count, that's a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
A lot of knowledge. Actually, I could say that I was homeschooled for probably about 2 years, and my dad I had to read a book every 3 days.
Wow.
And it was required, and I had to do an essay.
Wow.
I learned more actually being homeschooled than sometimes being in school because I got caught up in. I didn't get caught up. They got caught up with me because no, I didn't get caught up. They got caught up with me. But a lot of the girls were like that. So, we're just gonna. It was kind of one of those things that I learned that it's okay. It's all right the way the things happen and what happens and when you're younger. But I learned a lot just being homeschooled from my parents, and I'm appreciative of that. Yes, and my mom's a teacher, so.
I wish I was homeschooled. I was home.
You were home.
I never went to class.
You were home.
But I was schooled.
That's funny. Well, in addition to reading, I was so fortunate to be mentored.
Right.
And I had some incredible mentors. I mean, awesome mentors. I mean, and these were like spiritual teachers, religious scholars, philosophers, very successful business people. And some of them would just come in, they would mentor me, they taught me what I needed to know, and for one reason or another, they moved on, and then somebody else filled the gap.
And it always happens that way. It does definitely always happens that way. So we're going to come up to a break. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes. I just say we'll be back then. Thank you.